If I pull up the hourly chart here, actually, let me put an alarm down here so we're not off track. Anyways, hourly chart over here. Obviously, Monday accumulation with the bank holiday. Tuesday ran up, took out the buy side there. Excuse me, man. We traded back lower, and then with this trade lower, you can see we ran up, touched into the order block here, up closing range. Respect to that trade back lower. So I was watching this order block right in here, trade up into it right at 9 o'clock. And I told you there was a 1 minute. Actually, there's a 15-minute gap here as well. I was watching that and the 1 hour order block. So that's why we're expecting continued downside, even though we swept London here. So it's good to put that higher time frame context in when you're looking at these session ranges, because sometimes if you sweep that, if we're just looking at this, okay, we just took out liquidity, we just took out London, we may return up to Asian range, but it's good to incorporate that higher time frame. Told you that sell side at 16,753 had my attention, which was this sell side pool right here. It's a discount PD array. We're also could actually mark out this balance here as well, right below it. Let me mark that out over here too. Balance over here. Like to see that filled. And I told you that 930 needs to expand lower, otherwise you're going to wait for the first 30 minutes. But like it's clockwork, got a nice retracement up into the 15-minute gap and the 1 hour order block. And then in the predictions chat right before the stream, looking at that market maker sell model here after we saw the breakdown with this candle, 922. So I took a little demo short there, not a little one, 15 minis, but it's a demo short, just to show you the, the 930 expansion when we have 830 news is very, very useful. So we had 830 news here, right? Displacement. And then most times when you have 930, you want to see it continue in that direction of 830, unless we swap stops. But in this case, we did sweep stops, but it wasn't the pool we were looking for. We're looking for a discount. When we're bearish, we're looking for a discount 15-minute or 60-minute pool of liquidity or imbalance. So that would qualify as a discount pool of liquidity, this hourly sell side, and then this one right here. That's your most simple expansion targets on the day. So go to your hourly, go to your 15-minute, look at those imbalances, look at the liquidity pools, all within discount or premium. That's what most times price is going to reach for, right? Like if you look at yesterday, morning session expands. Let's go to the 15-minute. All the way up to a premium 15-minute buy side liquidity pool. Okay. Now today we're expanding lower all the way to the sell side. So I'm not sure how much we're going to get for the 950 macro. Possible total soup 950 macro. Yeah, I agree. It's potential we trade back lower. Preferably though, I do want to see this low put in around 1030 like usual. So what we could see is something like this. After we purchase the sell side, assuming we don't trade into this gap, what we could see is trades back up into the range. There's a large gap in 930, right? Maybe you trade up something like this, and then 1020 market maker sell model all the way down into the sell side. That's something you could be watching. That's my first thoughts. Let me send this really quickly. Morning. Look at the 4 hour chart. Those equal highs are way too clean, or the 1 hour chart. These ones up here, it's possible. We would have to see a only reason I probably wouldn't target these today. For sure, I don't think we would target these today just because we have 830 news, 930 expansion. We would need for the rest of the week, I agree. If tomorrow we have 830 news, I think Friday we have 830 news too, but if we can expand above this up closing range in here, we form a breaker, like something like this. I do think that's the overarching target, at least for the rest of January. Especially going to February, because we have this buy set up here too. And if you look at the larger time from dealing range, probably you want to see a dip into discount, which that sell side and the imbalance is right in discount. Potentially this sell side too, but we'll have to watch and see. So I told you also wanted to see some speed. just because below this sell side here and below this sell side, even below that short-term low that we formed in the 1 minute, this is all efficiently delivered, right? Most of this range. So if we go from this low, from that lows to like this low, efficiently delivered here on the 15-minute, on the hourly, it's also efficiently delivered. So then you're looking at the 1, nice displacement candles all the way down. Obviously, it's probably a 1 minute bounce if you want to scroll all the way back. Let's look at it. If I can find it. Never mind. Anyways. So once again, here's your efficient delivery to inefficient delivery, high resistance to low resistance. So yeah, if we get a reversal here, we do have 9:45 news. It's something to pay attention to. Medium impact, 10 a.m. Oh, sorry, not 9:45, 9:15. I was wrong there. Yeah, this is probably the only thing I'd like to trade. I don't want to short into discount if we take this out and we see continuation. Unless we really want to head lower, which with this gap here, I would assume we want to bounce. I can mark out this too. But silver bullet hour, not expecting a whole lot, just because we had 8:30 news. 10:50. Only reason I would use 10:50 today is if the target isn't met or we're looking at a reversal around 11. Like if you look at yesterday, target was met prior to 11 o'clock, and we got a reversal right at 11, right? Dip lower, reversal, tap into the gap again, provides 20 points. Good morning. So that's what I would be looking at. Yeah, so premium P area hit prior. We have that high put in. Perfect delivery yesterday too. So we're holding that tiny order block right here. Not something that I would normally mark out, but just to annotate it for now. Obviously, we have more, larger gaps above us. Just happened to the 2-minute gap. Now, normally with breakaway gaps, like this one up here, if we were to trade back up into it, you don't want to see a whole lot of resistance form. But since this is such a large gap, I would assume if we were to trade back up, we could see some resistance on the bottom and the top end, probably not as much. So 2-minute gap. I do really like the full screen change that TradingView changed. If you full screen, you can actually access all these panels. There's your sell side. Before you couldn't, it would block those all off. So let's send a screenshot of this to predictions chat. Pretty standard stuff. So if you're looking to trade your 930 volatility or your 930 like open, I would say do it in 2 different ways. One would be 830 news. I'm going to keep saying that because a lot of times you're going to see that continuation expansion with 930. Or if you're looking at a 930 true open, meaning we don't have 830 news, maybe news at 10 a.m., something like that, or even no news in the morning, not a Monday. I would say if you have no news on a Monday, typically that's low probability. But say it's a Wednesday, we got no news at all. That 9:30 equities open between 9:30 and 10. You're looking at a Judah swing to form. So if you were to scalp 9:30, you got to be very careful by watching the SMT that's forming. I would say take partials very quickly if you're looking at scalping 9:30 on a no news day, because we're looking at that daily Judah swing to form, and you don't want to be caught off sides, especially if we're reversing at 9:40. We see that dump off going to 10 o'clock. Even with silver bullet, like we're not normally going to see an expansion from 9:30 all the way till 11, unless there's some sort of catalyst that's going on, or we have a higher time frame structure that supports us moving, like from 9:30 all the way to 11. There's your 1 hour gap fill as well. So that would have been a nice market maker sell model all the way down. You can see the internal range also, internal range to external range. Now, if you look at that 15-second chart that I sent into your predictions chat, if you scroll up a little bit to the 15-second demo trade, it's hard to see here, but we're turning into premium with that current daily range, right, from high to low. And you also see we're taking out that consolidation high one last time. So that would be an internal range buy side sweep. We don't see a high over here, but if you look at the picture, we take it out basically 3 different times. One last purge up right there, and then we trade back lower, change in state. And then I entered right on the 1 minute breaker, or the 1 minute breaker, this down closing range in here. So I want to see how we react off this. We got nice gaps up here that look like we can target. 3 minute gap pretty wide. Obviously the sell side at 16,657. Got 100 points lower, 80 points lower. Now, this is the kind of day where I would wait for 10 a.m. I know silver bullet's not going to be the best, but on a day like today, where we're dipping way into discount, we already met the discount targets we're looking for the day. I don't want to be shorting here, just assuming we're going to run all the way for this low. We don't know if it's going to run for the low yet. Preferably, we see a reversal, but I also don't want to capture a reversal prior to 10 a.m. because sometimes 10 a.m. is supposed to bring that reversal. So it's best when we don't know, it's not clear going into the macro, wait for that first 10 minutes. So wait for 11 o'clock, hopefully to bring some sort of retracement or reversal, and you can use that to enter. Typically, that's like the 2 different things you can look at. The first 10 minutes, last 10 minutes, or even first 10 minutes and then around 10 a.m. That being said, even if the first 10 minutes is clear, sometimes you can still get an entry. In this case, maybe going short, and then we get a reversal at 10 a.m. You can get 2 entries within that same macro time. Those typically are not, you want to just be capturing the larger move. Daily Sibi lower, also going to wait, touch that after silver bullet. Let's take a look. There we do have this larger one. That would definitely be piercing the this gap, or sorry, this sell side. It's right into it. So that sell sides are right at the daily imbalance. Yeah, we're just heading all the way forward. So I'm not going to switch up and say let's take a short, but if we were to displace, it may give an entry, but I would like to see a return into premium of this current daily range at least. Don't want to see something like this. If we just fill this entire gap, at least get some respect off of it into premium. Problem with these 8:30 days is that 10:30 is just like that whole silver bullet hours is sometimes tough. Like if we, what's the news the rest of this week? Thursday. Oh, we got 8:30 news the rest of the day, rest of the week. That's tough. If you want to trade, just a little tip here. But if you want to trade 1 minute market maker models, look for a 15-minute imbalance fill. So you need to have a drawn liquidity that's further. Every single time you see a 15-minute retracement into a gap, it could be a tiny gap, it could just be a larger. If it's a larger like retracement, like on the hourly, look for a 5-minute market maker model. But if it's a 15-minute, or we're just retracing slightly, you can see basically every single retracement on the 15 produces some sort of market maker model. Like if you look at 545, there's a tiny imbalance there that we're filling. Let's go to 545. See the market maker model in here. Pretty rough, but 618. Anyways, that's something you can study if you're looking at market maker models or even 2022. So here's the macro start. I don't really see anything that's high probability. 15-minute chart, we still have this gap. Past this gap though, could see speed. Pretty efficient delivery on the sell side over here. Same thing we saw right over here, right? You got that same speed. That being said, for the higher time frames, it's gonna have kind of a problem if we want to reverse and head for those relative equal highs, like we said up here. That's going to create a high resistance liquidity run. We would need news drivers to probably pop through us. Exactly what I do. MTF FEG indicator by. I don't think I've seen that one. Five-minute gap up there. What we could see is just expansion all the way until 10:30. Now, with a larger range like this, with no Judah swing, at 8:30, no stop sweep, at 9:30. Could also see 10:30 being that low, and then we see turtle soup at the low end and then trade back up, or even 10:50. But that seems too delayed to me. 10:30 would be preferred. At the start of the macro times, it's also probably smart to cycle between the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 minute time frames, because I'm pissed off from yesterday. Not pissed off, but annoyed with that trade yesterday. We got stopped out by like 2 points, and then it flew all the way up to the buy side they were looking at. All because it just forgot to mark out a 3-minute gap. So make sure you mark those out. Watch this. You barely close below it, but watch, I guess, this imbalance. Not imbalance, order block. I just don't like marking it out because it's within this gap here. You can see we're kind of trading up further into it. Yep, see. So the reason I wouldn't mark this out, although it is a nice up closing candle we close below, we have a gap here, right? That's overlaid on top of it. So if we're expecting a bounce off this gap, we're not going to see the order block respected. So let's actually mark out this 5-minute gap up here. So watch the 5-minute gap. That would be in premium of the current dealing range, especially if we start filling it right around 10 o'clock. I mean, like it looks like it's going to leave. That would be preferred. So we're just waiting here for 10. Order block up there too, but that's not in premium, so I'm not concerned with it. See, ES just pierced. Oh, no, wrong annotation. We had a lot more downside on ES. Substantial SMT there, I think. Yeah. Oh, actually, ES is already pierced their 9 a.m. low from January 2nd, January 9th. So I guess NQ would have to catch up. I'll send a 4-hour picture really quick. Reference the low that wick. Here, I'll see if I can draw a line on it. For this one. The one that I have a little arrow on. Sent it in the chat. That's your sell side that we marked out on Q. Down here. Let's take a look at the quad chart. So misaligned here substantially. ES right around their low end, kind of consolidating a little bit more than NQ, and then YM is just popping up. DXY though trading up like this, most times you want to see continued downside. We still haven't traded up into premium yet, so I wouldn't be looking at shorting anytime soon. With the consolidation that we're seeing, I would be careful of a reversal at 10. It's just, there's a whole lot of stuff that we're trying to consider at the same time. So it's low probability. That's why. You see me jumping around like that, clawing up, weight, like tons of different things. There's no clear bias. Same thing with yesterday, right? If we're reactionary instead of trying to predict price, that should already tell you we're in somewhat low probability or it's very difficult to read. So if we're waiting for this, and this to happen, and trying to react off of it, yeah, exactly. In between PD razor is rough too. So if we have two gaps, this applies to any time frame. If we have gaps above us and below us, then price is just bouncing in between. You gotta wait for displacement either through them or respect and displacement on the other way. Same thing with the order blocks. We're bouncing between order blocks, bouncing between even buy side and sell side. That's your seek and destroy conditions. If we're just constantly flipping back and forth, right? Nothing here. I agree. Best case scenario, we see a Judas swing on the low end of this consolidation range at 10, tracing back up into this SIBI. I do also like that 930 equal buy side on the 1, right at that AM high. Yep, right up there. I just don't think we'll reach that, to be honest, though. Maybe in the PM session or maybe later in the AM session. We just gotta watch it. Like if we saw a turtle soup here at 10, and we traded back up, maybe tapping into this buy side, into premium of this range, most likely we would see a continuation down. Most likely. Salsa liquidity yesterday, New York low. Yesterday? Confused. So no retracement at 10 yet. Let's see what the rest of the guys are doing. So DXY still popping up here. Let's drop to a lower time frame and see. Yeah. Still popping up. YM looks like it wants to trade lower. But this is what I don't know how people trade US 30. This is such a poor market, I think. Like, look at these ones. That nice market maker saw model there on the 5. Aggressive just move on NQ, which is expected. I don't really know how anyone treats this. It always seems like it just does its own thing. I'm considering just dropping it altogether for the SMT, but it is useful in that rare scenario. So DXY still climbing. Let's actually go to DXY higher time frame. So we're trading all the way through this daily imbalance here. Oh, nice. Yeah, let's take a look. So if we close above it, obviously you want to see use as inversion. We don't have a clear order block range that forms on top of it, but trying to see a reason why DXY would reverse here, besides that premium end, the 4-hour gap. I don't think that's enough though. Here's 10 a.m. DXY go from relative highs, yeah, up here, and it's a good target. Today, probably not, but overall, yeah. And here's 10 a.m. So no entry, all good. At least no entry for me. Maybe someone else got one off this order block, but I don't think that's optimal. So we'll look for 16,657. Preferably that low is put in around 10:30. ES barely getting any movement though. So we gotta watch if we're gonna sweep AM low. I am just picking its nose over there. DX, oh, finally some movement lower. All right, here's your classic market structure shift. More importantly, we're trading through this down closing range. Okay. Market structure shift is not an outdated idea, but it's not as precise as you can get. It's just a general kind of rule of thumb. It kind of bypasses some other stuff that you're going to be looking for. It's a general term. So I would say look for a breaker to form, look for inversion gaps to form, look for a CISD. It's all in reversals in price, I think, a Q&A post. Yeah, you got to scroll a bit down, but let me see if I can link it in the chat really quick. Nope. Anyways. So right at 10 a.m., dip lower. I'm watching to see. We do have some SMT there. Almost looks like a reversal stage at 10 a.m. Especially with YM climbing, DXY dropping off here. Let's see. 20 points-ish would be like from... That buy side is definitely still in discount. Oh, it's actually in premium. Never mind. See if DXY can continue to drop off. Also, efficient delivery in here, so we could see speed all the way up to this high. I don't know what the 15-second chart looks like, but just look for this quickly. Flip bias there pretty quick, but sorry, I'm typing up in chat really quick. Looks solid so far for this high. If you want to go really far in oh, there's DXY dropping off. Nice. Really far in a premium. We could be looking for that high. I just don't know how far we're going to get. We do have that 3-minute gap right up there. Could be looking at the 3-minute right above this imbalance, this 3-minute gap here. So obviously buy set up here too on that overblock tap. I don't know if we'll reach all the way up to the AM high. Preferably we don't. But nice speed. See the speed, right? Efficient delivery. Quick acceleration up, no order blocks forming. Now you could see once this high is taken, we could see retracement into the breaker. Or right now. Tiny imbalance here too. I just don't know how much DXY is going to drop off. We need it preferably to pierce this low. That would be best case scenario. We just tapped off an order block there. YM popping up, looking good. We got SMT at the lows comparatively with ES right here. Just a tiny portion. SMT. SMT here. Watch how this order block or fair value gap is respected. Keep flipping those today. So this is more of a framework trade, right? 10 AM reversal more than really any PD raise holding right here. Obviously, there's probably one on the 15-minute or the hourly that we just didn't draw out, but no bounces random. So trading up there. I do want to see how fast we can clear this high. Nice clear. So that's already 20 points. If we can get up into that 3-minute gap, that'd be preferred. Also, watch this to be used as a breakaway gap. I'm curious. Small long, low risk buy. I put a tiny one on. I'm looking for that 3-minute gap up here. I'm going to remove this hourly sell side just so it's not interfering with it. But efficient delivery in here too. So I just want to see it pop right up into there. Then I'll send the screenshot. And oh, come on. There's your 20. Yeah, I'm a little greedy here. I'm looking for that 3-minute. It's about 30. Let's see. Are we trading into a 2-minute? Nope. 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 All right. Yeah, I feel like we should reach that. And here's the last push. Hopefully. Come on. Get me out. Okay, really? All right, I'll close it there. I'm not going to get too greedy. Yeah, within what tick? Really? One ticket? All right, yeah, I'm glad I closed out. But tiny 22 point scalp. I'll send the screenshot. I didn't feel super comfortable taking on demo, but it was more of a framework trade. It's not something I called beforehand, but still fits within my model. So I'll put it in future trades if you're interested. Pat, typically you're going to be looking at ES between NQ and ES. Of course, it's going to. ES, DXY you could also use. Now, DXY is it's called inversely correlated, meaning if NQ and ES are trading up, we're going to be looking at DXY trading back lower. Same thing with vice versa. If indices are trading lower, then DXY should be popping up. So SMT can form between those two. I would say the first thing you want to be looking at is between ES and NQ. To be honest, I don't know why I closed there, but anyways. So we got, I think that was basically what we were looking for, right? Just a little bit delayed. Like if you look back at predictions chat at 9:38, we want to see a retracement up. Now 10:20 most likely will probably create that high. I don't know if we're going to trade all the way up to here, but if we can take this out, let's see. That'd be your classic 10:30 reversal going into 11 a.m. probably creating the low, but that's within premium. So like optimal. Only reason I'm not interested in it is because we had 8:30 news, so silver bullet hour becomes low probability. Optimally, we would trade into this green line here, trade back lower, create a market structure shift, and then dip into the daily imbalance right around 11 a.m. That would be best case scenario. I don't know if it's going to play out, but you see we're trading lower into that order block and the fair value gap. Oh, why did we bounce there? It must have been some lower time frame thing. What's the high on this? 745.75. Yeah, three ticks away. It is what it is. Oh, by the way, Apex Trader Funding is running a 80% sale right now. I don't know till when, but recently they started doing this thing where now you can pass in 1 day instead of 7 days. I don't think it's it's enticing, but I don't think it's something that you should push for because then obviously you have to over leverage and probably over trade unless you capture some crazy 15-minute move. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is nice because sometimes then you'd have to wait another 4 days or something to actually get funded. So if you want to participate in that or if you're interested in that, there's a link in the resources channel. Right in here. They are a little dodgy, I think, just because of their website and everything they do with their sales, but I've had no problems with them personally. Yeah, they don't. I mean, they don't allow it, and I would say it's poor risk management, to be honest, if you actually participate in that. Like if you're sending 17 contracts on a mini on a 20-point scout, well, there's your balance. Nice, perfect. Then yeah. It's not good risk management. It's not good habits either. But it's there in case you want it. Bounce fill, dumping off here. Nice. Good stuff. Love to see it. Yeah, the static 100K. I've never actually traded the static 100K. I really don't like I used to absolutely hate the trailing drawdown with all those companies. Like I know Elite Trader Funding does it. I know Apex does it. But now I kind of realize that it's actually, although it's kind of annoying, it actually does promote good risk management, right? Like if you're always staying on top of your game, I'm always going to try and risk the same percent. The only thing that that it struggles with is then once you grow the account, it's hard to scale up besides using other accounts. That's the only problem I have with it. Otherwise, I think it's trailing drawdown actually prioritizes you having good risk management over just trying to you get a $5,000 gain for whatever reason, and then you increase your position size by half. I don't think you should be risking that same. You should always have the same risk, right? Unless of course your account is large. But anyways, back to price action. Yeah, I don't really know what we're gonna do for silver bullet hour. Obviously, I don't like this low being put in at 10 a.m. It's just a little, I don't know. I mean, you can see reversals at 10 a.m., but preferably it's not a true day low of the session. So I don't I'm not going to be trading silver bullet. I'm most likely not going to be trading 1030, 1045 unless we see a very clean market maker sell model or buy model up to this buy side. I'm not really favoring one over the other. Actually, no, I am favoring the sell side to be hit daily imbalance. But that being said, if we trade all the way up and just continue, we'll have to see. They were Top Step, now building up Apex. I think Top Step is up there too. Top Step for sure, especially with their withdrawal methods where you can just withdraw like almost any day. I haven't personally used Apex or Top Step. Actually, no, I have. Back in the early days, I think I failed a couple accounts. All right, so do you have another gap up here? Probably we'll see something like this again. We're trading back and forth slowly. Then above that gap, speed up to this high. Not a trade setup, but just tape reading price. But again, this setup we took, or that I took, I know some other people probably took it too, but this is strictly framework. We're not seeing a change in state. We're not seeing a low risk entry, right? Like if we were waited for this gap to fill, which it didn't fill, we would have missed the entire move, or at least the move that I was wanting to capture. So if you look at the PDF, or if you study the macro review stuff, or if you study the old videos that I have on these, or even the old live streams, just on the 950 macro, you'll see this happens, right? A tip I would give you is if you're looking for a 10 a.m. turtle soup, you want to see consolidation between 9:45 and 10, like I said before. So 9:45 and 10 a.m., or I guess 9:59. Consolidation, no expansion in here, right? Just chopping back and forth. Judas, expansion up till 10:20 is the expected target, but like no, if you haven't seen this before, this probably doesn't make any sense. But just keep building. Obviously, this SMT also helped. SMT with ES failing to make that lower low right here at 10 a.m. Right, that's a very good sign, right? Especially with you have a large importance of a candle at like 10 a.m. That doesn't sweep liquidity, doesn't cause a reversal. Nice trade up there. Did actually get a low risk here. Let's measure if it got 5 points. Nice 5 points from there too. Perfect. Relative equal highs up here I would be watching. Oh yeah. Only because 10 a.m. reversal plus close above last selling. Right, yeah, if you were looking at this, could see that as a change in state too. I entered, I think, probably a little early. I didn't get right on the 10 a.m., but pretty close. What did I enter on? 10:01, top of the 10:01. As soon as we traded above that down closing candle. But I will try and make sure all this is included. I'm going to try and get like that AM session thing. That PDF I'm working on. I'm going to try and include morning bias and then basically everything from, including London too. So morning bias is including London session, but everything from 8:30 to 11, or I guess 11:10 is what's going to be in there. I said this yesterday too. If you have not watched the core content month 10 videos, specifically for index futures, those are fantastic videos. He shows examples for the 9:30 setup, for the 10 a.m. setups, or not 10 a.m. New York AM session setups. Also, there's a guy on Twitter named AM Trades. Great name. He put out a PDF onto Twitter. I downloaded it. I'll share it in here. This is not my PDF. This is all credit goes to him. So let me actually pull up his Twitter if you want to follow him quickly. He's got some great stuff. He typically just trades on the higher time frames, 5-minute and 15-minute, higher than mine. So I guess that's higher time frame. But his analysis is basically all around the economic calendar. So if I had to tell you one way to trade, That's probably easy to learn, but also incorporates a bunch of different stuff that I'm also incorporating just on a higher time frame. Um, his methodology is probably one of the greatest, I think. At least some of the best I've seen on Twitter. So here's his Twitter handle as well. And if you want to download that, you can download it here, or you can go straight to his channel. But if you have time to read that, not the entire thing, it's like 75 pages, half of which being screenshots. So I guess it's like 30 pages maybe, but it includes AM session profiles, it includes economic calendars, it includes all those different things that are important, but very, very important PDF. I'm going to try and include some of that stuff in my own. I'm going to get permission from him if it's direct screenshots, but hopefully that should help. If you have time today, I'd suggest just review that and then the core content. 1, 2. Is it messed up? Oh, I sent the wrong one. Here we go. This is the right one. There you go. Yeah, that's 50 megabytes. So that should be the right one. All right, yeah. Click that one. And if you have any questions on those too, feel free to shoot me a DM. I still got to study some of it, but there's a bunch of content. Normally, I don't like saying like, look at other people besides ICT. Like even myself, don't take what I do, my model or my advice over ICT's advice, because obviously he's the creator of all these concepts and he understands them a little bit better. I think the way you should learn it is learn as much as you can at a deep understanding and then simplify it. Unless there's other people like AM Trades, or even Market Maker Turbo, all those guys will explain it to you in a deep understanding way, but then simplify it where you can apply it daily. So you're not trying to like, if you try and do all these different things at the same time, even in the beginning, it's going to be very rough. But things like the speed with the low resistance liquidity runs, that was something that ICT has never really said explicitly, but you can infer it, and you can also just look at your charts, and that's something that is simplified, but also requires a deep understanding to really understand, to really comprehend, I guess, and anticipate when it's going to happen. Same thing with the order block. Same thing with breakers. So be careful who you pick. Don't if there's a guy on YouTube, I'm not calling anyone out or I'm not trying to shoot the blame, but if there's someone on YouTube who's like, learn this ICT model in 15 minutes and you'll pass your funded, I am going to assume it's not going to be the best video and it's going to leave out a lot of stuff. Like if it's not an hour-long video, I would kind of be sketched out about it. Obviously, there's probably some good content that I'm not mentioning, but if you want a full, like if I had to explain just a 20-minute window here, I would need maybe 3 hours to give you a full in-depth guide. Or even like with a 930 setup, 930 Judas, even that first 30 minutes, I would need probably like 2 or 3 hours just to explain all the different variations. There's not one variation that you can look for. Like that's why the 2022 model is like 40 videos long, 40 hours, like 48 hours, something like that. It's obviously a very simple, all right, sweep liquidity, market structure shift, low risk buy, all the way down the sell side. Like it's simple when you explain it, but when you look at the different variations and what you're actually looking for it to be high probability, you need a lot of time. So if you want to get better at a model, if you want to get better at ICT trading, it's all about just putting in time. Doesn't matter if you don't feel productive, but if you're just looking at the charts and watching them print, you'll see things that you probably won't see or you didn't see yesterday. And that's basically what it's all about. All done today. See y'all tomorrow. We'll probably wrap it up here too. I just want to see if there's any reason we go lower, but see you tomorrow. I'm watching this order block right here. But yeah, we're not really getting This to me just looks like a dip lower, so we can move back up. But framework wise, we should put that low in right around here. Go to the higher time frames. And conflicting ideas. If you look at the 5-minute, we're trading up into this gap here, trading back lower. That'd be a short in the 5. 1 minute looks almost like a long opportunity if we can see a CISD here. If that breaker gets invalidated, we go down. I would assume so. We're talking about this breaker right here. So this qualifies as a breaker because, let me take some of this stuff off. This breaker is a, now technically, never mind. Low, high, lower low. That takes out liquidity, and we have SMT. So I'd be looking at the most substantial up closing candles. We're looking at the bullish breaker. So these two is what I'd technically be looking at. If you want to use the most prevalent one, or the most previous ones, would be these ones. But these two up closing candles would be your breaker. So when we say low, high, lower low, and then a higher high that closes above it, when we tap into that, you want to see price respect it like this, preferably on the premium end. This kind of dip lower is only because we have a fair value gap down here. But if you have a breaker and a fair value gap paired up on the premium end, you just want to see it tap into it and trade back up. So yeah, if we were to trade below this breaker, then yeah, I would assume we want to hunt for the daily imbalance. Do you still use market phases? I do, but it's more like, I guess, subconscious than it is um, trying to read the different phases. Because I've realized that if you're talking about stages of delivery, which I assume that's what you're talking about, every time frame will have a different stage of delivery. So it's not something that you can really get a good grasp on more than just a simple of an understanding and kind of like looking at what the market's going to do, right? So if we see the consolidation, all right, there's only one thing we can see after that, expansion. What you just need to understand is the expansion going to be in the form of a Judas swing, or are we going to are we going to expand out? So if you're looking at stages of delivery here, excuse me, consolidation between a specific time point we marked up beforehand, 9:45 and 9:59. Expansion out, or you can see this down closing candle expansion out. Then what do you get? Retracement or reversal, right? So we get a reversal. That's what we traded on into buy side liquidity. It's also good to understand the targets and the extreme qualifications of like each stage of delivery, right? So in a consolidation, you want to see respect of about 50% of that line. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the core content month 1, like first or second video, and you'll see the exact examples. Or you could look at, there's a Q&A post. I think it's a successful model. Oh, I can't find it. It's called that. Reversal, we're going to be targeting buy side or sell side. Retracement, we're going to be looking at 50% of a dealing range. Now, retracement does not mean all the time we're going to be filling a gap. Most times it does, but maybe on that specific time frame, we're not going to see that gap. Instead, we're just retracing into premium or discount. Expansion is when you'll see order blocks hold. So an expansion model or expansion stage of price, all those order blocks preferably are going to hold as we close below them. So order block range, order block range, order block range, right? Standard fib for AM market high. Force deviations up to here. I'm going to measure this side. I don't really know which one is the correct version. I would assume that the manipulation factor is not. But yeah, if you want to use standard fib, it's not something I really do that often. Watch this to be used as inversion as well. We do also have a down closing range in here on a higher time frame, probably. Yep. Order block. But yeah, we're not, unless we reverse right here, I'd assume that this is probably the low of the session. I just don't like it being put right at 10 a.m. So I think we'll wrap it up there. I'll make sure to post the stream recording as soon as it's rendered. If you have any questions or just want any backtesting data or even questions about that PDF I sent, feel free to shoot me a DM or just post it up in the general chat. I'm sure someone else, if you have a common question, could probably answer it for you. I'll see you guys tomorrow, Lord willing, for another. I'll try and start it probably around 9:30 since we have 8:30 news tomorrow. So I'll see you guys then, and have a great rest of your day. Stay safe. Peace.